Welcome to Global Governance TV. I'm Kumar Rakesh, and today I'll place the news about the Jammu Kashmir, the tour of Mr. Amit Shah, Union Home Minister of Bharat, and MTP decision judgment by the Supreme Court of Bharat. Before that, we greet to the all viewers, well wisher for happy Mahanami and happy Dashara. It's a great festival of Bharat where we just uh, uh, offer uh, all rituals and prayers to Ma Bhagwati, the power center of the all power center from the all corners of the world. So we just pray and offer puja with all means. The big festival of Bharat. So I just come to the point now. News is the Amit Shah. How Amit Shah just public gathering with the development projects and many eventful day. 3 days here on Jammu Kashmir 3 to 5th October. And yesterday he was in Jammu, addressed the rally, and today also he addressed the many public meeting, gathering, share slogans, and very happy to see the enthusiasm in Jammu Kashmir. And tomorrow, uh, before leaving Jammu Kashmir, he addressed the rally in Baramulla. But this is not a happy point for any union home. This is second uh, visit of Mr. Amit Shah after the abrogation of 370. That is 19, 5 August 19. And after that, he visited Jammu Kashmir 2021, October 2021. His second visit after that is also just October 2022. So many decisions, many meetings, just review the security measures. Very sad to share our Mr. Lohia, the DJ jail, found dead in his home. How it happened, it is matter of long investigation. And in Sopia and Baramulla, some anti-national activities, I will say, and terrorist activities try to be destabilize the peaceful situation of Jammu Kashmir, always trying on behalf of Pakistan. I directly blame. I'll not check in the word back, but whatever they are doing, that should not be accepted. And was 3 day Jammu Kashmir eventful day on Tuesday. Today, addressed a large public meeting in Rajouri, launched several development projects later. As Mr. Shah reached Jammu on Monday evening yesterday when he met people from the various communities, including Gujar Bakarwal, Rajput, Pahadi, and Jammu Sikh. He started his day today, Tuesday, with a visit to Sri Mata Vaishno Devi Shrine, Katra, Mandir, where he offered prayers. This is now uh, Mahanami, auspicious day. Notably, just had the first visit to the Holy Shrine after the appointed the Home Minister of Modi government, 2-0. His visit was accompanied by Jammu Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha, Union State Minister Jitendra Singh, and as I told you, coincided with the ninth day of the ongoing Navratri festival. And he also just announced the reservation for the Bakarwal, Gujar, and the Pahadi community. They are affected for the 10 uh, assembly constituency election point of view, so you can understand. Keeping the maintenance of public order in view, the JK administration temporarily suspended the internet services in a specific area of Rajouri under the fear that service will be misused by anti-national elements that may cause deterioration in public order. Mr. Shah addressed the public meeting in the afternoon at Rajouri, which is echoed by the cheers and slogans. And to the rally in Jammu and Kashmir, slogan of Modi Modi, all of these are answered for those who used to say that the Article 370 is removed, there will be fire in Jammu Kashmir, rivers of blood will flow. But where they are, the Home Minister said the Gujar, Bakarwal, and Pahari communities will be soon given reservation. Already he find the report. After the abrogation of Article 370, the process of reservation has been cleared. Justice Sharma Commission has sent report and recommended reservation for Gujar, Bakarwal, and Pahari communities, and it will be given soon, announced by the Mr. Shah. Study the reservation is being possible because the abrogation of Article 370 and 35A, which was made on August 5th, 2019 in Parliament. Would it have been possible to get the travel reservation if Article 370 and 35 were not removed? Well, with their removal now, minorities, Dalit, tribals, and Paharis would get their rights, as announced by Mr. Shah. So the occasion launched a scathing attack on opposition, which he alleged had removed the meaning of democracy from the reason to rule of generations. As he announced, the three families has ruled the uh, uh, Jammu Kashmir for their own vested interests, self-interest. It's very clear the Abdullah family, Mahbub Mufti family, Congress family. So we can understand. It's very obvious and clear. And how the terrorists, with the behest of the Congress, were ruling were treating as a special guest in Jammu Kashmir those who are the destroyer the all communities and the all, uh, great role in the removal of Hindus from the Jammu Kashmir. For 70 years, Jammu Kashmir had ruled by three families. Democracy was built only within their families. Did you tell how they get right of the Gram Panchayat, Tahsil Panchayat, Jila Panchayat? Three families have removed the meaning of democracy, Jamhuriyat, only ruled for generations. And the all election was held. And the Valley witnessed the first Panchayat election only after Prime Minister Narendra Modi came to power in 2014. As he said, the government changed the country. Narendra Modi became the Prime Minister in 2014, and Modi the first conducted Panchayat election in Jammu Kashmir. Earlier, only three families had the rule. Today, all have come under rule of Jammu and Kashmir. He said, giving a comparative view of the earlier and present picture of reason, Mr. Shah said earlier news of stone pelting used to come from Jammu and Kashmir. Now there is no news of stone pelting. Modi has worked to empower the youth of Jammu Kashmir with so many policies. Really, there are so many reports has that their policy is going to the youth of Jammu Kashmir are going to benefit from all policies. All the Chamber of Commerce, all the with the working with the government, either the Hindu Muslim, they are not any um, alienation and not any excuse. Not so later in the evening, Shah inaugurated the foundations of the various development projects in Jammu. Addressing the occasion, the Home Minister said that Modi government is working in bring JK at par with states and country in terms of development. Rule of three families has left Jammu and Kashmir thousands of kilometers behind rest of the country in terms of development. Since 2014, Modi has worked to bring the backward Jammu and Kashmir at par with almost all the states in terms of development. Jammu Kashmir has now in the mainstream. Just we can understand this is also so many policy has reached. Now this is that totally cut off the country. The three families have promoted politics of separatism instead of the development. They are neither processions nor a stone pelting now. JK because the government moving toward the path of development. Underlying the crackdown of the government against the terror sympathizer, Shah said that such people have been identified and removed from the administration and work is already on. So, as I stressed, the center wants to make JK the number one state in the whole country. We are not just people who make promises. We want to end the corruption. We want to end the terrorism. At the same time, we want to make Jammu and Kashmir the number one state in the whole country in the terms of development. On the last day, on October 5th, tomorrow, we proceed visit to Indian Territory. Saj also stated the whole number of crucial meetings, including the ones regarding the security situation in the region. They review the security situation in Jammu Kashmir at a meeting that is slated to held the Rajwan in Srinagar. And Lieutenant General Manoj Sinha, top officials of Army, paramilitary forces, the state police, and civil administration will take part in this high-level meetings expected to begin 10 tomorrow. Before concluding a visit to the Union Territory, Shah will also lay foundation stone for various development projects Srinagar around 3:30 p.m. tomorrow and also address the rally in Baramulla. So we can understand the importance of this tour visit of Jammu Kashmir. There are so many policy planning and announced. Reservation has been announced. So it seems, as I think, according to analytical mode, the election uh, of Jammu Kashmir may be held near future and already expected according to the old laws the last November December, but it may be by the with the February it may take, and how all the delimitation already done. So it seems, as I think, according to sources, the election preparation is on by the BJP, and the new election plank already launched by the Gulam Nabi Azad, the Democratic Azad Party, just from the Congress. So he may support the BJP, and he may play the key role in Jammu Kashmir politics in near future. We'll see how it matters. The time of break. After break, we'll come to the special news of the Supreme Court on the MTP Act. We'll go to break. The news is just from the Supreme Court on the Abortion and MTP Act. So a contrast between the two democracies. Really, the Bharat Supreme Court has interpreted the right to life in an expensive manner into the recent verdict. In contrast, the highest court in US has taken the wrong lessons from history and its verdict on abortion and gun control. A seminal judgment delivered last week by the three-judge bench of Bharatiya Supreme Court sparked hope in Indian judiciary emerging a beacon of justice. The Medical Examination Pregnancy Act 1971 permitted only certain categories of women the right to undergo abortions, to the exclusion of unmarried women. The judgment expanded the scope of a statute to allow all women the right to undergo abortion up to 24 weeks of pregnancy, irrespective of their marital status. This is totally, as I think, go against the Indian culture, Bharatiya culture, whatever the old Vedic culture. Part 1 of the verdict covered issues of reproductive justice. It recognized that states have a positive obligation towards women in providing them with safe, effective, meaningful, and affordable access to avail abortions. It also recognizes that its ambit covered not just cisgender women, but any person who could become pregnant. Meanwhile, US Supreme Court earlier this year delivered a number of regressive judgments, including declaring abortion as a non-fundamental rights in the Dobbs versus Jackson, holding state-imposed restriction on a gun ownership unconstitutional in New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin. Though these two judgments operate in distinct spheres, their genesis and impact on the determination of liberty, autonomy, public interest in the US is much more similar than is evident. So we can understand how the judicial activism had taken the notes and affected by the which country. As people in the US experience an erosion of trust by their Supreme Court and continue to be governed by a rigid constitution, they could look towards India Constitution and the judgment of Bharatiya Supreme Court, such as one delivered last week to identify ways of safely secure and prioritize the personal liberty and autonomy of all citizens. A conservative politics proliferate globally. US Supreme Court judgment highlight and warn other democracy affects both the fragility of judicial institutions and their shrinking independence from everyday politics. They also expose the antiquated text of US Constitution. USSC and the Dobbs and Bruin held that Indian standing interpretation of US Constitution must be based on the historical analysis that finds the origin nation's history. So based on the interpretation, the USSC overruled the decision in Roe and Wade 1973, a judgment that has guided jurisprudence on the person and bodily autonomy in the US for almost half a century now, has been cited in several verdicts of Indian courts. Bharatiya Court. The USSC held in awards that neither expressly stated the US Constitution nor deeply rooted in the nation's history and tradition, and therefore does not deserve protection. In Bruin, the USSC, using a similar yardstick, rejected a long-standing judicial precedent of assessing gun control regulation on a combination of historical tradition and the larger public interest purposes, and held historical tradition to be exclusive ground of assessing the validity of history of the gun owners. So, patterning selective and narrow interpretation of US history and tradition, the USC refuses to the bound of the judicial principle of decisis the principle of avoiding by the judicial precedent set by the Supreme Court. In both these judgments, Its insistence on the reliance on history to the critical components of judgment reasoning is colored by the judges' political beliefs, fueled by their reliance and archaic constitution. The relevance of idea in history can have different degree of interpretation based on the epoch of history in question. Ideas and belief systems are, after all, products of their times and always in transience. Therefore, when history becomes the centerpiece of judicial reasoning, it allows the unfettered subjectively, does not serve the purpose of justice. So I mean to see this two democracy, how the contrast. The actually, if you talk about the Bharat and talk about the US, the situation is different, culture is different. But as I think, this decision is sometimes uh, impact on the decision by the our Supreme Court of Bharat. What is decision is that? I am just trying to read out the significant judgment. Said unconstitutional to distinguish between married and unmarried women for allowing termination of pregnancy on their certain exceptional grounds when the fetus is between 20 to 24 weeks. The decision allows an interim order in July by which the court had allowed a 25-year-old to terminate her pregnancy. The ruling, incidentally delivered on World Safe Abortion Day, emphasizes female autonomy is assessing abortion. And the three-judge bench comprises Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, A.S. Bopanna, and Justice J.B. Pardiwala framed the interpretation. Rule 3B of Medical Termination of Pregnancy Rules, MTP Rules 2003, as per which only some categories of women are allowed to seek termination of pregnancy between 20 to 24 weeks under certain extraordinary circumstances. The challenge to provision was made July by 25th year, 25-year-old unmarried woman who moved the court seeking abortion after Delhi High Court declined her plea. The woman's case was he wished to terminate his pregnancy as her partner had refused to marry her at the last stage. She also argued the continuation of pregnancy would invoke a risk of grave and immense injury her mental health. However, the law allowed such changes circumstances only for marital relationship. The Supreme Court, holding the law had been given the purposely interpretation, had allowed the petitioner to terminate her pregnancy in an interim order. However, the larger challenge to law, which would benefit other women, had kept the pending. So now what the law obviously says that medical MGP pregnancies allows termination of pregnancy by a medical practice in two stages of the crucial amendment in 2021 for pregnancy up to 20 weeks. Termination is allowed in the opinion of one registered medical practitioner. For pregnancy 20-24 weeks, the rules attached to the law prescribe their criteria in terms of who can avail termination. It also requires the opinion of registered medical practitioner in his case. So pregnancy within 20 weeks termination can be allowed, and that is all uh, court interpret, court stated the whole 3TCB cannot read an isolation, and Rule 3BC based on the broad recognition. Court also expected Rule 3BA, survivor of sexual assault or rape or incest, to include married women in the ambit, although does not have this effect of striking down the marital rape exception in the Indian Penal Code. The ruling said the women have suffered marital status can be included in the provision. And the effect of the judgment, the court purposely purposive interpretation state the common trait in Rule 3B, the change of women's material circumstances. While the ruling recognizes the right of unmarried women, it leaves the enforcement of right to be decided on the case-to-case basis. That is a significant point that should be noted. It is not possible for either for legislature or court to list each of potential events which would qualify a change of material circumstances. Suffice it to say that each case must be tested against a standard with due regard to the unique facts and circumstances that a pregnant woman finds herself in, the ruling states. Now, this means decision will be handed to registered medical practitioner, and if unsatisfied, women can approach the court. This is the both side and both way how it will go. It will see in society, but for the least but not last, just you see some clips on this decision. Uh, uh, Padma Bhushan Jaina charge Ratan Sundar Surji Maharaj, how why he speaks. Just see a clip and you find how the hue and cry the in Bharat Award after the decision. Just have a look on the clips.
बहुत बड़ा दुखद दिन है, बहुत बड़ा। आज सुबह पेपर पढ़ के आया, तब से चैन नहीं है। एक सुप्रीम ने फैसला दे दिया, मैरिड और अनमैरिड कोई भी लड़की एबॉर्शन करा देगी, कोई कानून अपराध नहीं होगा। आपकी 17 साल की बेटी, और वो शब्द लिखा है कि इस एबॉर्शन के लिए उनको किसी की परमिशन की जरूरत नहीं, ना आपके, आप पिता हो तो आपकी, ना आपकी ये बहन हो तो इनकी माँ की, किसी की भी नहीं, किसी की भी परमिशन लिए बिना अनमैरिड बेटी भी मजे से एबॉर्शन करा देगी, उनको कोई कानून अपराध नहीं रहेगा। ये फैसला सुप्रीम ने कल दे दिया। और इनके चीफ जस्टिस है चंद्रचूड़। जब से पढ़ा है तब से लगा था ये क्या हो रहा है क्या। 4 साल के पहले दीपक मिश्रा सुप्रीम के चीफ जस्टिस ने वो फैसला दिया था कि शादी करने के बाद आपकी पत्नी 10 पुरुष के साथ सो के आती है तो उन पर क्राइम नहीं लगेगा। मैं रिपीट करना चाहता, तुम तो कभी पढ़ते भी नहीं है। आपकी पत्नी शादी करने के बाद लड़के के साथ सो के उनको क्राइम का केस नहीं लगेगा, वो नॉर्मल है, अपराध नहीं है। वो पति और पत्नी के बीच की बात थी। आज आपकी बेटी को फ्री कर दिया, मजे से जहां भी घूमना है घूमो, जो भी व्यभिचार करना करो, और अनवांटेड प्रेगनेंसी हो जाए, आपके बाप की, आपकी माँ की परमिशन बिना 1 घंटे में किसी हॉस्पिटल में जाकर के एबॉर्शन करा देना, यू आर फ्री। ये हिंदुस्तान। आज ही मैं बड़ी जगह पे बात करना चाहता हूं कि हम क्या देख रहे हैं। बड़ौदा के एक सुश्रावक मुझे मिले थे, बड़ौदा के चातुर्मास में, और आपने मुझे बता दिया, गुरुदेव मेरी बेटी को मैंने लंदन पढ़ने के लिए भेजा। और ब्रिटेन में जब ये कानून आ गया कि स्कूल में जाने वाली, कॉलेज में जाने वाली लड़की कॉलेज में ही एबॉर्शन करा देगी, एबॉर्शन केंद्र कॉलेज स्कूल में खोल रहे ब्रिटेन में, और वहां कानून आ गया कि स्कूल की लड़की या तो कॉलेज की लड़की एबॉर्शन कराना चाहती है, उनके माता पिता की परमिशन बिना वो सीधी कॉलेज में और स्कूल में एबॉर्शन करा देगी। गुरुदेव उसी दिन मैंने मेरी बेटी को फोन लगाया, कानून ये आ चुका है, तुझे पता नहीं होगा मगर मैं पढ़ा हूं। बेटी पापा बोलो क्या चाहते हो, सब कुछ छोड़ के इंडिया आ जा, तेरे संस्कार में मुझे निश्चित तौर से भरोसा है, मगर ये बदमाशी चाहे इस देश का कानून ये आ जाए, आपकी बेटी व्यभिचार करे तो भी आपको पूछने की जरूरत नहीं, बेटी मैं नहीं चाहती हूँ तेरा बाप होके। और गुरुदेव तीसरे दिन बेटी ने अपनी करियर पर फुल स्टॉप लगा करके मेरे घर पे आ गई। ये आपके सामने बेटी है, इतनी पवित्र बेटी का मैं बाप हूँ। 22-25 साल पहले ब्रिटेन में ये कानून था कि माँ बाप की परमिशन बिना मजे से तुम एबॉर्शन करा सकते हो। ये हिंदुस्तान की धरती पर फिर सीता गलत थी, सब कुछ गलत थे। यह सुप्रीम का चीफ जस्टिस ये फैसला दे सकता है कि आपकी बेटी चाहे कुछ भी करे, कोई चिंता मत करो। आ बेटा ने हत्या नहीं दिया, दया ना परिणाम नहीं हत्या से। जिस बेटा मां की कोख से जन्म पाया, मैं आपको पूछना चाहता हूं, उसको पूछो, चंद्रचूड़ को पूछो कि एक बेटा मां की कोख से बाहर आया, एक ही दिन हुआ इसको जन्म के बाद, और गला घोट दिया, मर्डर का केस लगाएगा? लगाऊंगा। क्यों? मां की कोख से जन्म पा चुका बेटे का तुम गला घोट दो तो मां मर्डर करती है, और पेट में मार दो कुछ नहीं, कानून फेवर में। ये देश, ये कृषि संस्था, रूसी संस्था, यहाँ ये सील सदाचार हरो के मारो गोली, बस कोई प्रश्न ही तुम उठाओ मत। मलाड के चातुर्मास में पूज्यपाद उपाध्याय विमल से मत थे, कितने साल हुए? करीबन 25 से ज्यादा साल। तब की बात में कल्पित करना।
Sundar Suriji Maharaj, how his anger about the decision of the Supreme Court, how is so anger and with Justice Chandrachud. So as I just told you, the contrast and the contradictions of the US law and how Mr. Sundarji Suriji Maharaj Acharya said, talking about this law was 25 years in Britain, how this fear of the daughters and how they were thinking on that. So whatever legal, whatever laws it already abolished in the other country, why we are adopting that in the name of the freedom, so-called freedom. We should think on that. We should understand that with our social fraternity, social structure, we should not allow only in the name of freedom whatever the Western culture that is already trying to destroy our Vedic Bharatiya Sanatan culture with all means, as in the pandemic, it has already proved the only Vedic Sanatan Hindu culture can save the humanity and the lives of the people with the Ayurvedic, with the all the Ayush method and all the system, the medical method only can save. Already WHO already surrendered before us, despite the all politics. So how we are supreme, we should understand. Thank you very much, and we'll keep in touch and just see and send your view on this inputs and keep in touch. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.